glory, honor, and praise to the great God, Universal Allah, my Father in heaven. Woo! First of all, I'm a super, well, I'm gonna say I was a fast food addict, but it's always possible to revert back because those chemicals, I know that they're still, those addictive chemicals, I know they're still stored in my organs and things like that. I haven't had testing or anything, so the great God could have just removed them overnight. That's up to the great God. But I've had chemicals, chemicals as addictive as your street drugs. I've had them for, I was bottle fed from 6 weeks. There was a study, these chemicals and baby formula contain jet fuel. I think some studies found, I believe, I haven't done a research since, decade ago, but I believe that some of the chemicals they found in the baby formula was arsenic. By the way, Divine Core Herring, from any company that has toxic chemicals in their baby formulas, that is a Divine Court hearing and a divine transfer. Again, this is from the negative polarity to the positive polarity, vice versa. So the negatives will be transferred. It will be either dissolved to 0 point neutrality, or it will be transferred to the guilty, the evildoers against great God Allah, because great God gave us breast milk to give to our baby. If you love your baby and you have the ability and you want the best for your baby, you're going to feed the divinely intended diet, which is breast milk. And if you don't, you're guilty. You have to account for that on Judgment Day. When your book of life, every thought, word, and deed gets opened up, you have to give an account to why you chose to start your baby out on a fast food diet. That led to me actually developing fast food addiction throughout my life, and that's been my struggle. I know people have struggles with like things like heroin, cocaine, and like the harder drugs, but we still have to understand these are still very addictive drugs, and they build dependency up in your cells. They program your cells, they program your taste buds, they program everything down to the molecular level. These chemicals that are allowed by the Food and Drug Administration, they're allowed putting chemicals as addictive as pharmaceutical street drugs at a legal quote legal limit. They are allowed to, but they nonetheless, they are still addicted. They still build up, these chemicals and additives, they still build up in your organs, your tissues, your cells, everything, which I believe is the case for a lot of children having these food colorings and stuff like that. I mean, it's been studies out, do they give children this so-called ADHD, hyperactivity and all that? Well, isn't there studies about white sugar being as addictive as cocaine? So, no wonder I turned out, I had a journey, a challenge, a struggle with fast food, meaning like eating it every day. And we know that's in violation of the great God. My body rejecting fruits. Like, don't want it at all. Because look, that was actually a study. That was actually study, I don't know, probably saw it a decade ago. And I don't know if they still have it out. But mice. They did a study on mice. And these mice had sugar diets, processed food, white sugar diets, their whole, not cane sugar, no. They had white sugar diets their whole life. They took it away in a study. They replaced it with healthy fresh fruits and vegetables. And in that study, those mice, they starved themselves to death. They refused to eat the natural, healthy fruits and vegetables because the white sugar was taken from their diet. That is, it's like to me, it's like a slow kill. It's just like, if your body is rejecting these healthy foods because it's just dependent on a drug, that's just what it becomes. It just becomes a drug. And I just want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the great God for assisting me with having the mind to just, I don't even know the words because I went all day without eating, and I just now got the opportunity. I wasn't going to eat because I'm with a very, a being that, is under a lot of stress. It's stressful, man, when you try to backdoor a vessel of the great God. You try to, it's going to get real stressful, man. So, I'm here, and I didn't get a chance to eat all day, and I just want to, again, use this as a testimony because I had plenty of opportunities to, indulge in fast food, processed food. And again, I waited because I've been saying since, I think it was yesterday, I've been saying since yesterday, I just wanted fruit. After I came from the sauna, I was in a Himalayan sauna all night.
Oh man!
And I just lost so much fluid. It was just something in me was like, I can't eat processed food. After losing all that fluid. So I just waited because, I got people right now, they trying to get on my frequency, so they'll eat what I eat. If I want to eat some processed food or fast food, they'll eat that too. So it's because the gut hold memories, and that is a link. That is a link. If they're in your space, they're eating the same foods as you, they're trying to copy everything that you're doing, including down to the diet, just so they can empty out and backdoor you. This game is vicious, boy. But you can't beat the great God Allah, so just stop trying. I ain't got nothing to do with this. If it's not my vessel, the great God is going to use a jackrabbit. The great God going to use a rock. Didn't the great God say through Yahushua, even these very rocks will cry out. Even these very rocks will cry out. Glory, honor, and praise. How may we serve you, great God? How may we serve you? That is right. Why y'all so worried about my vessel? This speck of dust. But it's crazy. So I just held out all day because I seen this up. Bitch, trying to get on my frequency. Because I broke the link. I severed the cord, severed the link with that. What was that? About 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. next 11:30 a.m. next morning. I stayed at the sauna overnight, and I put in work. And I haven't put in work in a long time for the great God like that. So, because I've been out here in the trenches slaying these demons. But so I severed the link, I severed the cord. I really emptied out, and it's like, all right, you come back into that environment, and it's like they want to get you back on that frequency, so they offering you all types of food. They trying to find out what you're eating, right? So they can follow up, eat it, y'all holding the same gut memory, and they can start, you got that dense matter sitting in your stomach, especially if it's flesh, because like I did a video earlier, the great God is saying, like, if you are trying to raise your frequency, if you are trying to ascend, you have to cut out the flesh. The flesh is just it's an energy of suffering. Even eating out fast food, you know, people, they show you the marvel, the energy centers in the hand, and these fast food workers and these even restaurant workers, you know, they taking people's, you can't get them tips in a lot of places and stuff like that. They taking the cash away and stuff in a lot of places. You know, the workers they're holding misery in their vessels. They're holding a lot of misery in their vessels. So when they're smacking your food together, flipping your stuff up, this is witchcraft. This is sheer food. The great God is saying this is sheer food in Islam. It's like it's black magic food, because it's evil thought forms while the person is cooking it. You know, when people are doing repetitive, monotonous tasks, they tend to go into just like an alpha zone, like the daydream zone. So they'll just start thinking about things. And most people are programmed, fear-based programmed. So they just start to think about all negativity, negative things while they're making your food. Those thought forms attach on to that food, especially if it's the energy of suffering from these animals getting tortured and stuff. So, great God is like, like, and then you walk up in a spot in order that they like, oh snap, that's a vessel of righteousness, man. Oh, I automatically hate this being. Like, I don't care how polite they are, I automatically hate that being. They start cooking your food up, man. They putting all types of black magic and spells in your shit. So it's like, great God say, you gotta come out of her, my people, unless you be a partaker in her sins. Evil eye food, it's a real thing. It's called shir in Islam, shir. So this is a thing. Now, like I said, if you had done the transmutation work for the past 20 years or so, or the past decade or so, and you have the ability to transmute the suffering, be a transmuter for the animals, that's a different story. But if you have to save yourself, if you have to be redeemed and reconciled back to the divine mind, back to the higher planes of life, back to the great God, universal Allah, then you need to do everything you can. And that is going to be a block to ascension. Eating out, eating other people's food, because you don't know, only the great God, Allah, knows the heart and mind of a man. And you eating that male or female's food that likes you or whatever, or is with you, and they'll be spirit cooking your food. That means they are thinking evil thoughts about you while they cook. They might have entity attachments, demonic attachments that are monitoring spirits just for you to descend, just for you to whatever, fall. And guess what? It don't even have to be your person directly thinking evil about you. It could be demonic attachments. If you ever made them mad, you ever made them jealous, you guys have a oppository relationship, it could be for any reason that entity can attach to them, and that entity could be the one thinking the thoughts about you with the food. using their body to attack you. So I refrained. I was so hungry, but and so depleted from that sauna session, but I refrained and I waited, and great God led me to a citrus, a farm for some fresh organic produce. So, and that leads me for a divine court hearing on every farm in the divine mile radius, divine vicinity of my ancestors' land. Divine court hearing, divine transfer for every single one. And the divine court hearing and the divine transfer also includes every plantation, former, it could be former or a cloaked modern day plantation that I've been on in the divine vicinity of my ancestors' land. That's a divine court hearing and a divine transfer as well. And I want to just thank the great God for supplying me with like six fresh, right off the tree, organic oranges. Like, that to me, like, that's miraculous right there, because I was just like, man, I need something in my vessel. I do not want to put processed food in my vessel. I have not eaten processed food since I came from the sauna. Like, fast food, I ain't eat nobody's food. I'm like, yo, I need something in my vessel. Like, I'm feeling so weak. I'm, activity. I gotta get something like life sustaining. I gotta get some life force. I mean, I had the liquid chlorophyll, but I just needed something. And sure enough, we passed this farm, and just a bunch of fruit. Just they growing in the cold. What is it? It's February 19th. It's February 19th. It's 2026. So it's cold. They grow all year round. Why is my nation does not have access to this on my ancestors' land? This is a divine court hearing. This is a divine court hearing and divine transfer. Like divine justice. So again, this is not a complaint. This is a testimony, and this is a gratitude testimony. And I consider this just a modern day miracle. Like, somebody like myself to have an opportunity to go out to these farms and be able to pick it right off the tree and nourish myself. I'm really happy about that. Today was a good day.